This holster is over 100 years old, most likely made by a man named Collins for the F.A. Meanea company. At the time this holster was manufactured, Meanea had gone into a catalog sales business, kind of like Montgomery Ward's in the time, and became the first saddle maker and holster maker to offer their wares by mail order. This particular belt and holster combination was very typical of the Meanea style, or Meanea sometimes called, style of holster making. You'll notice that the square buckle like that is real typical of all the Western 19th and early 20th century holsters. But if you turn this over and look closely, you'll see that there's actually a little pocket in here, that every holster or every belt that Meanea's factory made was also a money belt, so you could put your coins in here and have them kind of hidden away, so if anybody jumped you, that would take care of it. This particular belt, although it looks like it's set up for a 38 special, it is not. It's a 32 Winchester center fire, which or 32 caliber with 20 grains of black powder was the prescribed dose for those bullets. And unlike modern cowboy belts, you'll notice that you can get 50 rounds, a whole box in there. So when you put the holster on, you'll notice in the true traditional fashion, your holster will overlap and have cartridges sticking out on both sides once you get it all mounted up. Meanea had been making these holsters for a long time. His nephew, who was working at the time, was renowned for his making the two matching holsters for Wild Bill Hickok up in the Dakota Territories. Hickok carried two revolvers, both Navy models, both black powder, but the two holsters were made by Collins, the nephew of Meanea. So it was a family operation. They started in Wyoming, went to Colorado, went to Miles City, Montana, and wound back up in Wyoming again. This company went out of business in 1929. So finding stuff like this that is still in good shape, and it's kind of difficult to find, let alone find it in good shape like this. Meanea had a kind of a trademark part of this, was putting a plug in the toe of the holster to keep mud and snow and crud out of the muzzle when they were squatting out in the prairie for whatever reason. So became a part of his calling card. Now this is the holster that I showed to the holster maker up in Tombstone, and today we got a chance to assist and consult with the manufacturer of some similar holsters for this. What we've wound up, from my personal choice, is a new belt holster, but not one with all these cartridge loops, because I'm going to go Wild Bunch. And if you know about the movie The Wild Bunch and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, these guys were about 100 years ago, about the same time as this holster was being made, running around with the first semi-automatics, robbing banks and such. And then the cavalry with Blackjack Pershing and Lieutenant Eisenhower, who came out with the first tank regiment to fight during the Mexican War in 1913. They all had belts without the cartridge loops because they had semi-automatics that didn't carry their ammo that way. So here we are. Our boots are still dusty and dirty, and hopefully next time you see a belt like this, it'll be on me with my 1911.